Hello and welcome to today's video. This time we're going to be bagging up my vintage compact SF and pulp paperbacks. So we've got SF, we've got SF Impulse, we've got Science Fantasy, we've got New World, and we've got some of their normal SF fiction books. So without further ado, sit back, relax, and let's get to it. Okay then, so this is Impulse. I think there was 12 issues of these, and on the whole my copies of my compact books are in really tip-top shapes. This is March 1966. Now these are the most modern books that I've actually got round to bagging, so I'm quite looking forward to seeing these, because they're in much better condition than a lot of the really ancient paperbacks that we've been doing lately. And yeah, that looks absolutely fine to me. So I'm not going to fold over the edges. I'm just going to do it without that. So I'm putting the tape just slightly over like that. Squeeze out any air. And that is it. And that looks lovely, doesn't it? Very, very nice. Very, very nice. Now, where I've got these stored, in actual fact, I've got all my compact books on one shelf. They do slightly double up, so I haven't got them all without a little bit of the books covering each other up, but at the same time they are all in an accessible place, because the authors that were covered in compact, people in fact like Keith Roberts, are favourites of mine. They're authors that I'm reading quite a bit of just lately. This one here, the Lady Anne, for example, this one's got the cover by Keith Roberts, and it's also one of the chapters of the novel Pavane, which I recently read. Really, really enjoyed it. So Keith Roberts does quite a few of the covers for these compact books. The editorship was done by Cyril Bonfiglioli, what a name, and a chap called Michael Moorcock, who you've probably heard of. They both sort of worked on compact and Science Fantasy and New World, so it's got a very good pedigree, this line, shall we say, And I'm hoping that, because these aren't too fiddly, we're predominantly, most of them are going to be fitting in ordinary paperback bags going forward. They're not going to need any of the digest ones. However, there is a compact anthology called SF Reprise, and those are big, big, thick ones, and those I'm hoping will just fit in a normal digest bag. But I have got some comic bags on standby just in case. Now, you might notice that I'm bagging these straight. I'm not brushing the tops of them, and the reason why is because it was only a few months back that I actually sort of got my compact collection all out, and I gave them all a good clean beforehand, so these have got nice clean tops anyway. And I thought, well, since I've recently done them, let's give them all the bagging treatment. And you've got to say, they do look blimmin' lovely, don't they? They really, really do. And these will be well protected on the shelf going forward, So we've probably not got a massively long bagging video today, because hopefully these will be, fairly straightforward. But still another good little publisher to get done. There's a bit of a classic there, isn't it, by Harry Harrison. That's the entire book there. Now this tape is getting quite near the end. We're okay, but I've got 3 rolls on standby. So I'm using Scotch tape. And it's the sort of tape that you can unpeel without too much trouble. So I've got that. I've got another roll on standby, as it were. But, as I said, I'm going to try and do, because I've got so many books to bag up, I'm going to be trying to do one video every 5 on my dedicated cleaning channel, which will be a bagging video. And on my other channel, my main one, once again, I'll be doing it about once a month. I'll bag up another part of the collection. I mean, I've only done the first, for example, the first 100 penguins, and if anything, those are the ones that really do need quite a bit of work, because they're very delicate, and the wartime ones are expensive, and I ought to get them protected, really. Although the next thing I'm going to be doing, and it will be over on my main channel, is I did recently receive some more vintage penguin catalogues and order forms from the 50s and 60s, and they're really, really gorgeous. And it was something that I didn't have. Look at that, that's just magic, isn't it? It was something that I didn't have properly catalogued. So what I've done, there is a very, very good website called the Penguin First Editions website, and they've got pretty much everything Penguin ever printed on there. But so far, I'm about halfway through. I've found 47 items that I've got that they haven't. So I've been scanning them and also updating my own list of those sorts of things, like order forms and catalogues and things like that. And I've decided I'm going to, once again, some of that's very, very fragile and precious. I'm going to go through, and on my next bagging video, I'm going to bag the whole lot. Now, some of it will be really straightforward. It'll fit in little comic bags, paperback bags like this. Some of it will be comic bag. Some of it may even need to be magazine bag. So I might need to check what magazine bags I've got, because some of the big catalogues, they're basically big sheets of paper that have been folded down in a particular way. So that will be the next bagging video, and that's going to be over on the main channel. These are already looking good. Now, speaking of bags, it's ironic since I've just got into doing a lot of bagging, but my friend Dorset Bob, who is a book dealer, has contacted the company that make these bags, because at the moment I'm buying them off Amazon and they're costing about £11, £11.24 per 100, and that's if you buy them at 200 at a time. And Bob is looking to bring them over in wholesale and then sell them through the UK. So there's the end of the roll. So I've said, well, I'll have 100 off you, and hopefully they're going to be working out a bit cheaper. All right, so if there's any news on that, I will we'll let you know. This roll's almost at an end, but that's all the SF Impulse, and now we're looking at Science Fantasy, which was basically one of the British science fiction pulps. And this is June and July 1964. Yeah, Cyril Bonfiglioli was the editor. What a name. But a classic editor. Good writer in his own right, apparently. And these are the same sort of format. They fit very nicely in these A format bags. But I think we're at the end of this roll. Yep, there we are. So that's a bit too much. So that is the end of the roll. So you do get to use the whole thing. Don't they look lovely? Right, let me change the roll. Okay, we're back. We're taped up with a new roll. And I suppose if I wanted to, since these books are so narrow, I could fold over the edges, but I'm just not going to, I just don't want to go down that route with these particular ones. I don't think they need to. They still look lovely on the shelf. I know exactly what I've got because all my collection is catalogued these days, which is a good thing to be, so that I'm not doubling up or not knowing what I've got. Just lovely. They really, really are. I'm so pleased I've finally made the decision to do it, because I was really on the fence about it, to be honest. For a long time I wasn't keen on bagging books, but now I really do see the benefit of them, particularly since you know, potentially I may, with a bit of luck, we may actually be moving house this year, and the stuff that I've done and dusted and cleaned and bagged has been fully covered on the channel, so that stuff can very easily go into storage pretty much straight away. And the stuff that I'm still working on I'll leave handy so I can still be making videos, but basically I am going to need to put some of the collection into storage just while the place is made ready to sell, and for having people coming around. You know, I don't want them gawping at my book collection, do I? So I'd rather just have it out of the way in long-term storage, all boxed up, at least for the stuff that I've done, until eventually when I move house and get my dream library, which is definitely on the agenda. It really, really is, and that would be lovely. Yeah, so the next one is going to be a bit of a mixture. It's not going to be all A format books. It's going to be like catalogues and little flyers. There's going to be some really fiddly stuff, I think. But as long as I've got all the different permutations ready of the stuff that I'm going to need, I think it will be alright, you know. I think we'll be okay. The principle will be the same. As I said, my first job was really cataloguing it all, and I've been doing that this weekend, and I've been at it for 2 days now. And when you see what I've been doing, you'll realise why it's taken so long to actually catalogue it all, because it is very, very fiddly indeed. And the stuff which isn't included on the website, I'm having to scan it to send off to the curator. He's called Alec, he's called. This is Penguin First Editions, and it's a great, great resource for Penguin collectors. And he really is trying to cover absolutely everything. That's just magic. I love the Furies. It was a real great book. Slightly let down a little bit by the ending of the Furies, but it's still a great novel, and very, very much like John Wyndham. You know, so if you like him, I think you'll like Keith Roberts. It's got some really good bits to the Furies. So yeah, God, it looks lovely. That looks really nice, that. Oh. So as I've been mentioning in the last few videos, and it depends when you're watching this one, of course, but I'm going to be attending the London Paperback show. That's in Paperback and Pulp Fair, it's called. It's on March the 24th. It's at the Holiday Inn in London. It's the Holiday Inn, Bloomsbury, Coram Street is the address. And I'm going to be there with my friend Steve, and Steve's got his own YouTube channel, The Outlaw Bookseller, which covers predominantly science fiction. And is Steve is a science fiction expert. You know, he's written books on it. He really is. It's lovely, isn't it? He really is a great guy. So Steve and I used to work together. We were both book buyers at one point for a national book chain in the UK, and we instantly hit it off when we started working together. And we've remained friends. Right, now that's the first stack, and I've got 3 stacks which are similar size, so we're doing pretty good getting through these at the moment, which is cool. The Plague from Space. I like Harry Harrison. Got to admit, I read a couple of his last year. I read 3 of his last year. The Death World trilogy, and really enjoyed them. And I'm about to reread some of the Stainless Steel Rat, which were a little bit earlier than Death World. In fact, I didn't realise quite how early the first Stainless Steel Rat, I think it's about 1961. But I don't know what it is, but I just like his style. And, I really would have liked to have met Harry Harrison. I've got a couple of books signed by him, and both Steve and my friend Dorset Bob both met Harrison and had a pint with him. He said he was such a nice guy, and I really do regret not ever having the chance to meet him at any of the conventions or anything. But that's how it goes. from a bottle. Now this is the first SF Reprise, but I suspect this will be absolutely fine in a normal comic bag, paperback bag rather, but the other ones might need to go to the digest size. Yeah, so that's fitted in absolutely fine, no problem with that one. This is, I am actually missing SF Reprise Book 1. This one is on my wants list to find. I don't need that many compact SF to have the whole lot. Only about a dozen books, in fact, so that's not too bad. Okay, now this next one, well, some might say it's a bit of a beast. Look at the size of it. It is enormous. 128 pages. Oh, it's of course it's rebound, isn't it? So these are SF Replies. It's stuff from science fantasy, but they've been rebound, which is why it's so big. Now that is not going to fit. I'm going to try, but I'm sure that's not going to fit in a regular A format bag. Width-wise, it looks fine, but it's just a bit too chunky. Look at that. It's not going to do it. So the next size up is the digest ones, which are these ones here. And we're not going to need many, but I'm hoping that this will be plenty big enough for this little one here. Yeah, look at that. Now I've got to admit, we'll see what it looks like when I've taped it up. But this might be a candidate for actually turning over the edges. I think it might be. So I'm going to just do the initial bit in the middle. Then I'll drop it down to the edge there. So pull it tight over here and then fold it down there like so, and I'll do the same on this side. And I'm only doing this because these are the big thickies. And back up the top there like so. I think I will do the fold over on this one. As I said, most of these are just normal A formats, so there's not many to do like this, but there is a few. But I just think they'll look very neat on the shelf. There we are. That's fine. Shall I do those two? Seems silly not to, doesn't it, really? So I've used quite a bit of tape, but at the same time the books are squared off quite nicely, and that'll be as protected as you're ever likely to get, won't it? That's alright, so stick that one straight up there. Now this is also a thickie, but I suspect it might just fit in a normal A format, just with a bit of jiggery pokery. Yeah, I think we're gonna. Yeah, it does indeed. Yeah, that's okay. Now the second one is a biggie again. So we're going to need another digest bag. Yeah, pretty nice condition. These are very, very difficult to find in top shape, unfortunately. And as I said, the first volume, I have seen a couple of copies of it. It's just not good enough. So I've turned it down. I said, no, I shall be patient and wait for a better one to come along. Because inevitably that will happen eventually. There we are. That's well and truly bagged. And we've got one more SF for a prize, which is this one. And this should go in a normal A format. And then I think we'll be ready to start the run of New Worlds pulp magazine. Yeah, look at that. Which is a real great magazine, and one I'd love to collect all the different formats, but I've only got the paperback size ones for now. Excellent stuff. Okay then, so we're starting off with New Worlds. This is New Worlds 143. And I'm missing 2 issues of New Worlds. Unfortunately, I haven't quite got the full set. I've got the 2 that I'm missing bookmarked. But one of them I know is number 156, which has got Terry Pratchett's second published working, and that's collected in its own right because it's Pratchett, you know. I'm not sure about the other one I'm missing, but they'll all turn up eventually, of course, and then I'll be a happy man. But for now, I'm going to live with having a couple of odd gaps in the old collection. Like this one here is not mint, it's got a little bit of pen on the back, but generally speaking he's alright. And this is probably an expensive one as well, with Michael Moorcock solo story there. As I said, he was, I believe, he was either editor or he was about to become editor. He was edited by Michael Moorcock at this point in time, so he was keeping the ship sailing, as it were, because New Worlds was suffering a little bit with regards retaining readers, which is a shame. Don't know why. Just look lovely. I'm glad I made the decision to do like a modern series, because they do look really terrific now that they've been done. Very pleased with these. They're not holding any air at all. They're just bagging up very nicely indeed. Look at the names there: Arthur C. Clarke, J.G. Ballard, Michael Moorcock, Barrington Bailey. Really good names in there. And these copies are tip top. These are from Dorset Bob. And if you think these are nice, you should see his collection. They're like file copies. They're so immaculate. Bob has got some good stuff, I tell you, in his collection. Really terrific. Syringe on the front there. Running out of bags here. Let's pull another little wedge out. The 150th issue. Lovely, lovely. One of the things I was concerned about was that if I start bagging everything, that the books are just going to be taking up that much extra space. But I've been pleasantly surprised that that's not been the case at all, you know. The bags are so thin, and they're not being boarded either. There's no cardboard going on, so I've not had that problem at all. So I'm quite pleased about that. Early Harry Harrison there, Bill the Galactic Hero. That's the series I've not read yet, but I hear it's okay, you know, it's alright, but I think definitely Stainless Steel Rat is next on my hit list for him. So it's been an absolutely astonishingly bad weather day. Not today, but this week has been awful, absolutely awful. So I've had to really sort of time my moment, really, with actually coming into the studio to do some filming. And I'm doing this on a Saturday afternoon. It's about a whole week before it actually goes out, in actual fact. And thankfully, I've picked a day where the rain's eased off a little bit. Because when it's really heavy, you can hear it sort of on the studio roof here, because I do film out in the garden. But today's been good. This one, I didn't quite get it tight enough. There's a bit of play at the bottom of the bag, so I'm just going back to redo it. There we are. Didn't quite fold it over far enough. Quality control, you see, that's what it is, quality control. Honest gov. I want it to be quite tight. There we are. David Masson's brilliantly told news at a two-timer. The Bala there, the assassination weapon. Do like these, I've got to say. Lovely. Fold over. There we are. Got a little pin burn on the front, probably a fag. Someone dropped a fag on it, sadly, ruining an otherwise beautiful book. These few here are more approaching books, aren't they? A little bit thicker, one main story, as opposed to being the New World's Digest. It's amazing, they just don't seem to hold any air at all like the traditional sort of comic bags do, you know? Very, very strange. It's just beautiful. Things have come on a little bit since the last time I ever did any serious sort of bagging of comics and things like that. For my comics, I've got some beautiful Mylites, and I've got Mylar bags, which are like sleeves. And I'm thinking for some of the Penguin stuff, I might use Mylar sleeves for those, because I have got some spare, and I think they'll just look, you know, as good as this, but just terrific, really, you know. But I might need some backing boards rather than having them loose. But we'll see how we get on. The Mylar sleeves are quite rigid, so they may be enough, you know. But we'll see. We shall see. As I said, we weren't going to have too long a video today, but we were, you know, I know it's been about half an hour, but the last couple of bagging videos, you know, have been well over an hour. But it just depends what I decide to bag up, really. So that's gorgeous, that, isn't it? Keith Roberts cover again from Michael Moorcock. Just beautiful. Really nice one there. Not many New Worlds left, because after these paperback ones are up, they then go to magazine size for the rest of the run, I believe. So I haven't got any of those. But New Worlds is a toughish one to collect. Bob himself's got a full set. He's got every one. One of the few full sets in the UK, I would think, or even in existence. They really are quite scarce. There's so many great authors in here. Thomas Dish there. It's just amazing. Ballard. You can see why this little run for me is highly, I wouldn't say highly collectible, but they are collectible, but just highly sought after because of their content. It's just some great stuff in here. Great stuff by great writers, basically. This is the last one before the format changes for New Worlds. And then we have the run of the actual novels, and they're in published order. I haven't got all the novels, I'm missing about 10. There's a very young Michael Moorcock there. But apart from one of them, I think they're all going to fit in regular size bags, except there's one which is quite thick, which is a Best of New Worlds, which we'll get to in a minute. A bit of dust on that. See, they're a little bit thicker, but they're still fine for the regular paperback bags, which is what I was hoping. Blooming lovely. These are just so nice. The Fire Clown. There we are. Now this is the last thickie, and this is going to need to go. I don't think it's going to fit in an A format, but we will try it, because you never know, it might just fit in. Are you going to do it? No. So to get a digest. This is the last thickie for today. Yeah, and then just the flaps. Like so. So it might seem a bit overkill, but it is giving it the best possible protection, which is what it's all about. Right, the last little batch. And it is just a small wedge to do. So I hope you've enjoyed looking through these compact SF as much as I have. They really do look lovely now that they're bagged up. They just look totally terrific. They really, really are. And I love collecting them. And so there's not many to get, really. And I'm only about a dozen or so short of having the whole lot. At least of their SF. There's other stuff that they published. They published like Hank Jansen. Not someone I've ever really collected. And I haven't even got an odd one by that author, but they did publish him in the 60s. Yeah, that's pretty cool, eh? Very much of its time, you could say. Another one, I didn't quite fold it over enough. It's funny, you can sort of feel it. I want it to be nice and tight, you know. There we are. Let's go. Don't want it flopping around at the bottom here, you know. Let's see what's going on. This is the only non-SF one that I've got. One I picked up years ago. It's sort of light sleaze, I think, in all honesty. So it's there with my other compact books, but it's not really something that I collect. I'm just interested really in the science fiction. But it's there all the same. So, as I said, if you enjoy the bagging videos, the next one is going to be over on the main channel where I do vintage penguin catalogues and order forms and memorabilia. That's going to be over there in a few weeks' time. Can't remember what the next cleaning video is. I think it's going to be modern hardbacks again, and I'm moving on to some of my autobiographies and biographies. So that'll be the next one over on this channel here next week. Don't forget, if you've not already, do please hit the subscribe button. It does help the channel out, and you get to never miss a video. And as I bag this beautiful Thomas M. Dish classic, I shall wish you thank you very much for watching today, and I shall see you again next week with another video.